All right, friends, it's T-Man. We're back with another Blaha video, which he just popped up. And I figured I'm just going to do going to do a reaction to it. To the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, and gear slave himself, JasonBlaha. The bomba clot himself, Blaha says, people told me I would regret lifting heavy weight one day. I'm 48 now. Well, you're gonna regret it if you didn't build any muscle.
You're going to regret lifting all that heavy weight one day. I'm 48 now. Here's my best lifts at the start.
Yeah, you're gonna regret it one day because you didn't build any muscle using it. What's the point?
The video from this year at the age of 48. Hey everybody, it's JasonBlaha here. Thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you're not following or subscribed, please do so, and if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would appreciate that so much. Thank you. So you guys see through here, you see pretty much a flat back 2-second pause bench with flat heels with 335. You see a 500 back squat with just a belt and shorts on, and then a 585 nice raw deadlift, again just a belt. Now, is this the greatest lifts in the world? No. Am I like the greatest lifter ever of all time? No, of course not. But I'm 48 years old doing these. I'm cutting now, so I'm going to be obviously lighter and lighter. I don't regret this. There's a lot of things I regret in life, but lifting heavy has never been one of them. You know, it's funny, like, dude, I could make a list of things that I have regretted. And most of it, pretty big chunk of it is stuff I've done online on YouTube and other stuff, actually.
Oh, believe me, Blaha has done a lot of things that he regrets at this point, especially online, because he was trying to play catch up, because he wanted to be somebody online. That's right. He wanted to be one of these fitness influencers, so he bought his subs, and that's why YouTube is punishing him. His channel is never growing.
Like, some of my worst mistakes ever in my entire life were just dumb stuff I did.
Funny body he has. It looks like he's never lifted a weight. It looks so funny, man.
On YouTube or on video, you know, those are actually most of my greatest regrets and mistakes in life. But there's other things, personal things, maybe women I shouldn't have gotten involved with, you know, certain people or friends I shouldn't have had.
It's funny body, bro. Looks like he's never lifted a weight in his entire life. He just looks like an old 85-year-old man. That's all. Doesn't look like anything special to me. It's just wasting his time, but whatever. Lifting these heavy weights in a short range of motion. There's no growth in short range of motion. It's like people, they do it repetitively, just wasting their time, wasting their life away.
My circle, yeah, there have been things I regret, right? I regret spending too much time playing video games sometimes.
Do you not regret not building any muscle? Constantly lifting in a short range of motion? Just so you could look cool? Hey man, I want to look cool, performing slave. So I lift short ranges of motion because it looks better. See what I mean? Like I said before in another video, some exercises will get you more damage than other ones. You understand me? Where there's more growth. Now, think about this, for example, squat and deadlift. Why can people pull more in the in the deadlift than they can in the squat? They can handle heavier weight. Think about that for a second. They usually pull heavier weight than what they squat. See what I mean? So which one would be superior? The squat for I'm talking about deadlift, these people that do like powerlifting. Which one would be superior? The deadlift or the squat for them? Really? The deadlift, because they could pull more than they can squat. All right. So let's just put this in contrast. In muscle damage, in the eccentric exercise, you're damaging muscle, you're building muscle. Okay. You're building strength, but you're building muscle at the same time. Okay, whatever, bro. So which one would be superior, the dip or the bench press? So let's say, for example, let's say I could bench press 315 pounds on the bench press, and I could do it for reps. Okay, but in the dip, the most I could do is 200 pounds. I can only dip 200 pounds, and actually with a lot of difficulty, because it is a difficult exercise. The difficulty of it is very high, but the amount of damage and growth you'll get is lower than the bench press. Why? Because I lift heavier in the bench press. I bench heavier in the bench press. For example, if I'm doing 315, but I'm doing 200 on the dip, well, I'm going heavier on the bench press, so it's kind of obvious. I'm going to get more damage and I'm going to get more growth out of the bench press than I would from the dip. See what I mean? And at some point, I probably most likely will go even heavier on the bench press. Let's say I go to 400 pounds on the bench press. Okay, I'm at 400 pounds. The intensity and the duration of my exercises can last way longer, so I can eke out more damage going much heavier in the bench press than I could in the weighted dip. See what I mean? So what would make the bench press superior to the dip? The weight that you're using, heavier weight. Okay, so what makes eccentric exercise superior to concentric exercises? What makes it superior? Because you could do what? You could lift heavier in the eccentric than you could in the concentric. See what I mean? So what you could lift for, I don't know, let's say 100 pounds in the concentric, you can do 140 pounds in the eccentric. Now that's what makes it superior, the loads. Remember what they say in science. What is the superiority of eccentric exercise over concentric? The loads that you could use. The loads are heavier than the concentric, and that's what makes it what? Superior. So now let's go back to the weighted dip and the bench press. What makes the bench press superior to the weighted dip? The loads that you're using make it superior for damaging and growing bigger muscle and stronger and strength. Okay? The heavier loads you use. So whatever exercise that you're looking for, it's the load that you could use. The maximum amount of load that you could use there makes it superior. Now, I'm not saying that the squat is not a superior exercise. You can try and go as heavy as you can. There is a duration and intensity in the squat, especially when it comes to the legs. See what I mean? But I've never seen people in the gym doing an eccentric deadlift. I've never seen many. I've seen some attempt. They'll stand a little bit higher on something, but they never go that deep. All right. So they'll never really know how much they could pull in an eccentric deadlift as opposed to an eccentric squat. See what I mean? They don't know because they don't have anything to compare it to. Now, when it comes to short range of motion, I'm just talking about short range of motion for powerlifting. Which one would be superior, the deadlift or the squat? Well, it's the deadlift because they could pull more in the short range of motion in the deadlift than they could in the squat. So why would you focus all your attention on the squat? That's why powerlifters, the majority of their focus is on the deadlift. Why? Because they could pull more in the deadlift than they could squat. See what I mean? The superiority in lifting, it comes down to what? The loads that you're using. That's what makes that exercise superior, especially for growth in the eccentric, okay? Because that's where all the growth happens, in the eccentric. There's not much growth in the concentric. It's a very little, if it's minimal, if anything. That's why people are always complaining, I got a stronger, but I never got a bigger, okay?
When I was younger, okay? There's a regret. I regret playing too many video games. I regret a couple girls I should not have got involved in relationships with. I regret some of those.
Regret relationships? Blaha, he's never had any relationships. He's not had nothing. He's a liar. Nobody wants him.
things. But never have I regretted lifting heavy.
I'm
You know,
sure.
and people have these strange, ludicrous ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, because you're just going to get hurt. Well, why is there some assumption that you're going to get hurt? I mean, I get it if you're lifting 800, 900, 1,000 pounds, right? Crazy numbers.
Yeah, Blaha doesn't lift crazy numbers. See what I mean? But you still could get hurt depending, right? You could. It depends what you're doing. I don't know.
You guys have never seen me bench, at least here in my 40s, I've never benched over 365. The heaviest I've deadlifted is 635. Heaviest I've ever had on my back for any type of squat, it was the cambered bar, which was 605. They're big numbers, you know, but it's not the...
Yeah, but he doesn't. The duration intensity of the lifting is not very long when it comes to Blaha. That's why he doesn't build any muscle. And even if it is in short range of motion, you still can eke out some growth, but it's minimal at that at best. Blaha doesn't lift to build any muscle. He lifts to entertain, which is garbage.
Crazy, the most extreme stuff you see, and a lot of those guys don't get hurt. So why is there this strange assumption? People are like, you're going to get hurt. You know, and here's what I'm going to say. Maybe this is because people need to hire me. I'm just going to throw it out there. Yeah, people need to hire me then. Like if guys are out here going, well, this guy or my trainer got hurt. Really? The guy who's training you got hurt? Lifting those sort of weights, like permanently injured? You got permanently injured with a 315 bench? I'm not going to name names, but you guys remember at least one tuber who had a massive following who got hurt with a 315 bench. Tore both of his pecs. It's like, are you guys kidding?
Maybe he was really weak. I don't know. He did 315 at a body weight of who knows what. Maybe it was intense, whatever. He was weak.
Me?
He had a forced production, but he was muscularly weak. Look at Blaha. What's he doing here now? Are these 10-pound rubber plates? 10 pounds, okay.
He was younger than I am when he did that. Tore both his pecs.
You know, he's really goofy. So he does these 45-pound plates, Blaha. Remember in his last videos, he's swinging them in the eccentric. And now he's back at doing 10-pound rubber plates, and he's curling them for a full concentric. What, man, this guy's really dumb. Wow, he just doesn't know how to train at all. People just don't understand lifting at all, bro. They don't understand the differences in load. They don't know the difference between concentric, eccentric. They don't know what the fuck they're doing out there. They just lift. They think, well, this looks cool because I'm lifting heavy. Yeah, but you could be wasting your time there lifting a heavy weight in a short range of motion. See what I mean? It's just a waste of time. Goofy ass lifting.
A big audience, people listening to this guy. You know, so it's like seeing people get hurt with machines or putting out information. You know what, guys? Maybe you're getting bad advice. Or the people who are like, well, I got hurt lifting less. Well, maybe your programming was bad. Maybe your technique was bad. Maybe you didn't build up your connective tissue and muscles correctly. Because guys, lifting heavy, moderately heavy weight like this, it's, you know, with good form is not that dangerous. You know, what's dangerous is ego lifting. What's dangerous is wearing knee wraps. You know.
Okay, I will agree. Dangerous is ego lifting. I don't know about knee wraps, but ego lifting is dangerous. Why? Because short range of motion, ego lifting, is based on nervous system strength. It's not based on muscular strength. And so you didn't get bigger and stronger, so you got a weak body. Trying to lift a heavier weight on a weak body is ridiculous. That's like a big truck going over a small bridge, and then that bridge is gone, dude. Or overcapacitating an elevator. It says, hey, this elevator can only take 900 pounds. But then two fat people come on there weighing 1,200 each. And then there goes the cable, snap. See what I mean? This is stupid.
Dangerous is again, putting anything on to where it lets you cheat.
Think about it. How much pressure can a human body take in weight before it actually breaks? Before it snaps, before you snap something, how much weight and pressure can it take, that muscle? Oh, let's go and find out. Let's go to a powerlifting meet. And, I didn't do this exercise. Remember that guy blew out his knees? Oh, let me go there and let me try now a higher weight, which I've never done before, to see if this will snap my knees. Oh, it snapped my knees. It worked, actually. Oh, I found out the hard way. Now let's go for surgery, and maybe my career is over. Yes, okay. See what I mean? I posted a short in my community section. You'll see two kids, they're wrestling. The other girl looks like a butch. She looks kind of big and strong. The other girl, she's not weak either, but she's small and skinny. And so the big girl was getting upset because she was kind of losing. So she grabbed this girl. She had her legs around her body. She grabbed her, picked her up, and she landed on her back in a kind of weird position, you know? And then she almost crippled her. She almost broke her back or paralyzed her, or I don't know, whatever. The kid's lucky she came out of it, but that's extremely dangerous. Wow, man, you know what I mean? So, yeah, let me see. They're like, let's find out if we could cripple. Let's see if we could cripple you by me landing on your back with all my weight. You know what I mean? That is just stupid.
And you can't feel stuff super tight elbow sleeves, super tight knee sleeves. Sometimes they're definitely knee wraps, elbow wraps. Yeah, that's dangerous. Like if you're lifting crazy heavy weights all wrapped up like a mummy, I think that's dangerous. But you
I think powerlifting's dangerous. I think people that lift stupid astronomically try to lift heavy weight in the short range of motion concentrically is stupid. Me personally, if you're asking me, I think you should lift to get stronger. I think you should get stronger. Not the weight is stronger than you. You should get stronger than the weight. You should get bigger and stronger. You should build muscle. That is just my opinion, okay? And based on facts and opinion, I think you should focus on getting stronger. That's all. Not better at lifting a heavy weight in a short range of motion. You should get better at getting bigger and stronger in a longer range of motion.
just lifting heavy weights, right? And I may not even hit those big lifts again. Like where you guys have seen me hit here, because I'm cutting now, I may never pass
He's not, because he's old and he's falling apart. Look at him. He's suffering from sarcopenia.
those weights again. It's possible that those may be it. I might not ever pull more than 585 again. I might not ever pull more than 500 again. Squat more than 500. I might not bench more than 330, 340 again. It may not happen, especially if I keep trimming down super ripped. Right? Okay. But so what? I'll still lift big weights, and I'm never going to regret it.
Look where I'm at right now doing this video. He just popped this up 24 minutes ago. It's around 5 in the morning here right now, making this video. So look at the garage. It's dark. It's dark there at the garage. Is he doing this 5 in the morning or something in Texas? I don't know. I don't even know what time it is there exactly. Fuck. So Coach is weird. He's even walking the street 5 in the morning and alive. On Alive, I saw him. I'm up 5 in the morning and I see him in Alive walking outdoors. Well, it's later on, around 6 at my time, 6 o'clock. I think it's 5 o'clock at his time. So he's walking out practically 5 in the morning. It's kind of dark out. I saw him making a video walking around the neighborhood. Fuck. And then later he's doing another one of these walking around the neighborhood videos during the day. It's crazy. I don't know how many times he does this now.
Why would we regret it? We don't get hurt. Like, you guys don't see me getting hurt doing that stuff. None of those lifts that I did there felt like injuries. Nothing hurt. Everything felt good.
I think all his lifting is endurance. This really isn't. That's what a lot of people are doing in the gym. Their lifting is based on endurance. They're lifting full range of motion. It's endurance lifting. I know some people, they were coming into the gym twice a day. I saw this one guy. He kept coming in. And then I was like, fuck, he's going back to the gym again. He would lift twice a day. Go back in the gym, bro, twice a day. He was pumping. He was pumping his muscles like an asshole. He didn't even realize that.
They felt tight, and that's the thing. Notice there's no ego lifting. They're all smooth. Right, even the bench press, 2 count pause, no bouncing. Good.
Look, it's like people asked me before. I'll explain this. I was never a person for doing pull-ups on a bar or doing dips. I built my chest doing heavy bench presses back in the day because that's the superior exercise because you could lift heavier. So you could cause more damage, there's more growth, and then there's more strength. So like I said, dips are great, they're cool, but I wouldn't stay there forever doing them. See what I mean? Yeah.
Control at a good, decent grip, just inside the rings. So nothing excessive, no big arch, Guys, just use good form, smooth lifts.
Yeah, sure, guys.
Train correctly.
Yeah.
Program correctly. Watch your fatigue management.
Look at the legs. Look at this. Look at his body. Look how it's formed, the legs. There's nothing going on in the legs there, short range of motion. The more you keep doing them shorter and shorter and shorter, they get shorter. They get small.
Eat good so that you have better inflammation control in your body. Like lifting heavy is not...
You can actually get 2 in 1 in this exercise. You can actually do your legs at the same time eccentrically and your upper body. You're pulling it isometrically.
Dangerous as people make it out to be. Lifting like a clown is. Okay, ego lifting, slinging around big weights with bad form, sure. Particularly if they're really drug-induced weights, like, if it's 200 pounds more on the bar than you would ever be able to lift without taking anything, and then you're using bad form on top of it. That's a recipe for disaster. And how often, though, are these injuries guys are getting due to the specific substances they're using? Come on, guys. Let's not pretend that's not a factor. But lifting heavy is not inherently dangerous. And it is not on the list of things that I regret. And again,
lifting heavy in a short range of motion is dangerous. But lifting heavy eccentrically isn't really dangerous because you're going to be building your body big and strong. So you'll get a lot stronger, you can handle heavier loads, and you're never going to get injured.
I have people, if you're out here and you are worried that you're going to get hurt lifting,
You are going to get hurt.
coach,
Sorry about that, I got bumped there, dude. Anyways, I'm back.
then, like if it's a real concern, you really think it's something you're going to get hurt doing, you probably don't know enough to train yourself then. This is why I offer my services. Hire me. I'll sort you out. We'll keep
Oh, that's why he offers his services. He'll sort you guys out. Okay, yes, Blaha.
you in a better
You're such an expert.
place if you'll listen. I occasionally get clients who they won't listen. I'll tell them to do stuff. I'll tell them to change something with their form, tell them not to do something. They'll do it anyways and they'll pull something. But then it almost always comes back to they were doing the thing that I specifically told them not to do. And someone says, well, you could go. So no, because I told them not to do it. That's in writing. It's usually in text and it's in Messenger. Yeah. You see, that wouldn't fly. I literally told them not to do it. I told them to stop doing it 3 times. Okay? Train correctly. Train with intent. Avoid overuse. Take care of your health, your tendons. Eat a good diet. Get rest. You're doing these things, lifting heavy within your limitations is not dangerous. And people say, well, just random stuff happens. Very rarely. Very rarely. There's almost always warning signs. And I have some friends who say that. Like, well, this, and I'm like, yeah, but you use knee wraps. That is in and of itself way more dangerous.
Look at him. He got up on this stool. He's doing these now. He's doing them eccentrically. Well, he's pretty much doing it now slightly more eccentrically than he did before. He was just doing a partial range of motion. You notice that? He's doing them much more now.
It's not the heavy lifting entirely that got you. It's those knee wraps. And I tell guys this.
And like I said, this is a good exercise. It's great, for the front delt area, whatever, some chest, but it'll never be superior to the bench press for chest because you can handle heavier loads in the bench press. Yeah, but this is a great shoulder exercise. It's really based on the calisthenic exercise. You see people calisthenic parks. They have parks, calisthenics. They do a lot of body weight exercises, certain things there. This is a body weight exercise, but now you're adding weight to a body weight exercise. See the difference? How much weight can you add to this body weight exercise? Well, not a lot. It looks impressive, like there's a lot on there. But in fact, the bench press, you could do a lot more in the bench press than you could in the calisthenic dip. I'm not saying that the calisthenic dip is bad. It's great, but it cannot beat the bench press when it comes to load. It's superior. What makes the bench press, again, what makes the bench press superior to dip? The loads that you use. Now, what makes eccentric exercise superior to concentric? The heavy loads. See what I mean? You understand me now? Man, maybe people don't even understand that. I don't know. Let me bring it up in science. I don't know if I can bring it up here. Med. Oops. So, eccentric contractions are often more effective than concentric contractions for promoting what? Strength gains and muscle growth. Why? Because of the heavy loads. Studies have shown that eccentric training leads to greater increases in strength, especially when performed at what? Higher intensities. Well, higher intensities, why? Because heavier loads training at higher intensities. See what I mean? Okay, that's another thing. Furthermore, eccentric training can improve glucose handling, cardiovascular health, and function. Okay, we already know that. It's the amount of loads that you could use here. Anyways, I'm gonna go here. Hold on. Hold on. It's the superiority of. I don't know if I could find it, man. Hold on a second. I don't know if I can find it now. I have to look for it. Or maybe it's this one. I'm not sure. Hold on. Yeah, it could be this. Okay, this review is to determine if eccentric exercise is superior to concentric exercise in stimulating gains and muscle strength. Well, it is. Why? Because the superiority of concentric is the increased muscle mass and strength appears to be related to the higher loads developed. Look right here. So what makes it superior? Watch. Subgroup analysis suggests that the superiority of eccentric training to increase muscle strength and mass was what? It appears to be related to the higher loads developed during eccentric contractions. See what I mean? And that's the superiority of what? Eccentric exercise, because of the heavier loads. So what makes the bench press superior to the dip? The heavier loads.
But they're not hurt because they're lifting heavy within their means. All right, there's an enormous difference.
Yeah.
Enormous difference. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
There's an enormous difference, and eccentric exercise builds your body stronger. Yeah. Unlike short range of motion, it doesn't build bodies strong. You're going to have a weak body lifting a heavy weight. I'll see you in the next one. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. So in eccentric exercise, you get 2 in 1. You get more strength and you get mass, muscle gains, which the concentric doesn't do. So why would you do something that is inferior? Think about this for a second. Why would you lift inferior when you can lift superior? Get it? Now that's intelligence. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends.